The United States has dropped Burkina Faso from its AGOA trade preference program. It cited deep concerns over unconstitutional change in government. The U.S. Trade Representative's office also cited concerns over the government's inability to curb an extremist insurgency, which of course spurred 2 military coups in the country in the past year. Now, the junta's foreign ministry reacted to the U.S. decision. They said Burkina Faso had committed to return to constitutional rule in about 24 months in a July agreement with ECOWAS, the West African regional bloc. Now the U.S. African Growth and Opportunity Act provides sub-Saharan African nations with duty-free access to the United States if they meet certain eligibility requirements. Well, joining us from Khartoum to discuss the implications of this decision to Burkina Faso is Dr. Issaka Souaré, a governance expert. Doctor, great to have you on the show with us today. And let's start off with some insight into just how big a blow losing access to the AGOA trade program will be for Burkina Faso as a country.
Thank you for having me. No, if you go by economic terms, that is the volume of economic and trade relations exchanges between the U.S. and Burkina Faso, it's not big. For example, to put this one in perspective, in 2020, the trade exchange volume between the two countries amounted to about $283 million, of which $273.6 million were actually exports from the U.S. to Burkina Faso, and only 9.5 million from Burkina Faso to the U.S., mainly cotton and cashew nut. So in terms of trade volume, it's not that significant. The significance is political. That is, the U.S. is an important bilateral partner, and by the U.S. taking such a measure, it could be construed as a way of isolating Burkina Faso if other countries were to do the same.
And on that note, as we mentioned earlier, the U.S. did say that it cited deep concerns over unconstitutional change, amongst other issues, in Burkina's government. What do you really think is behind the U.S. Decision to stop this trade agreement? And do you think Burkina's current government or current administration is ready to bend to the U.S. rules?
I must say that I didn't understand the timing because this is not to do with how the Burkinabe authorities are doing. Since 1985, there is a law in the U.S. Which is particularly the Section 7008 of the Foreign Relations and Appropriations Program Act, which asks for the U.S. to sanction by halting some line of cooperation with any country that goes through an unconstitutional change of government. And that is why they applied this same sanction against Guinea and Mali in 2021-2022. And AGOA, being part of the line of collaboration and cooperation between the U.S. and various countries, fits well in that, but that they had not done that since the coup happened almost a year ago, that I really cannot understand. But that the Burkinabe authorities, would they be able to respond to the requirements or the request of the U.S.? Well, I think they are on the path to doing so, because they have undertaken to restore constitutional order within a time frame of 24 months, as they agreed with the regional economic community, that is ECOWAS.
And as you just sort of insinuated too, there are questions about the current administration in Burkina's ability to sort of take up some of these things right now. They say they've committed to returning to constitutional rule in 24 months. What's your take on the current state of affairs in the countries politically, and of course how it's going to impact the country economically as it pertains to issues such as trade?
So far, there is nothing that indicated that they will not be able to restore constitutional order within that time frame. And that was even reiterated following a second coup a couple of months ago, led by Captain Ibrahim Traoré, who undertook to continue the implementation of that agreement reached with the regional bloc in July last year. The difficulty might be the security situation, and I don't think the two are necessarily linked. In that the security situation continues to be worsened. But we can see also the Burkinabe authorities taking certain measures in order to deal with that situation. Whether these measures will be successful in the long run in the coming weeks and months, that is to be seen, but they appear to be on course to respecting that undertaking with the ECOWAS.
Well, Dr. Souaré, we do have to leave it there, but we certainly look forward to having you back and discussing more on these issues in the future. That, of course, is Dr. Issaka Souaré. He is a governance expert joining us there.